So then the inverse of this question is, so if make cool stuff is a hard thing to follow, if that doesn't really deliver any information, I think that the other way to ask, or the other question to ask, or the other way to answer that question is, what isn't cool stuff? I think about when users on the internet reappropriate media that belongs to a corporation, to a company that is copywritten. They take it and they do something to it. They remix it, they mash it up, they do whatever. That is seen as noble, and it is seen as sometimes like exercising the fair use muscle, is a phrase that I've heard. And people respect that. Look at Girl Talk. Everybody loves Girl Talk. But when a corporation does it, when they take user-generated media, like say a YouTube video or something, and then they put it in their advertisement, the members of the community see that as a co-option. They see that like something of theirs has been repackaged and then sold back to them. And that is seen as largely negative by a lot of people. And I was wondering if you guys could sort of talk to that idea a little bit of like the company media appropriation versus user media reappropriation.
Yeah. I mean, know your meme. So we document internet memes. We document the internet culture. A lot of it's user-generated content. People write these meme entry articles. They submit photos and videos, and they're from all across the web. And like Alex is saying, Encyclopedia Dramatica doesn't like us because we're competing, and so they try to bring up all these issues of us stealing memes and co-opting the culture and copywriting stuff that we actually don't copyright. It's all fair use. It's all user-generated content too. But at the same time, I don't know if you guys have heard of the Rage Guy meme, just the angry face, F you. Hot Topic decided to start selling T-shirts a couple weeks ago and started selling them on the internet. And Anonymous found out about this and freaked out to the point where Hot Topic actually said, okay, hey, we're going to take it down. We're not going to sell it. A couple hours later, they saw the meme entry on Nary Meme and realized, oh, well, this issue is not as bad as we thought because Anon was trying to say it's a racist issue and that Hot Topic shouldn't be there. Hot Topic cited Nary Meme, said, oh, well, it is safe. We're going to sell it again. And then Nary Meme gets a lot of heat for helping corporate culture. And that's kind of the odd issue is like when you're doing it and it's free and people are creating, collaborating together, like it's one thing. But when a company then takes that and, like you said, tries to repackage it, people freak out because it's their own content that's kind of just being taken from them and said, you want it, you can pay for it. Did
you, sorry, Alex, just give me 2 seconds. No. Greg, did you feel any kind of like internal, like, was there like a nodding up when Hot Topic was like, oh, so no, your meme says it's okay, so it's probably fine?
A little bit, like,
because you are both a member of the culture and and the person studying the culture, mm-hmm. So it's like,
yeah. You know. I mean, and I think they have a fair right to do it. I mean, and it's up to them. I mean, to take it. It's kind of out there anyway. Nobody has any claims to it. It is in the public domain. Mm-hmm. If they want to sell a T-shirt for it, that's fine, but they should be respectful of that culture. To be honest, I was actually more worried about the site traffic that day than anything else.
Fair enough. Sorry, Alex. Go ahead.
Did you want to say something? Or?
Well, I think it's all very interesting that when we talk about people should be respectful of that culture, like of internet culture, like how many Che Guevara T-shirts do we see in stores all the time, and people just wear it and don't really connect to that either. Like, I mean, when we talk about like right or wrong, I think we should just talk about what we think is lame or not lame. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just lame that Hot Topic did that, but it's not like.
It is not wrong.
It's not the end of the world. I mean, because people actually were like, no, I really want this as a T-shirt. That's so great that I can buy it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not going to screen print my own. I would like to have that on my chest. Ergo, I'll be going to Hot Topic. And also, you know, if we solve this, we deprive people of all of the fun they have by arguing with companies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people, like, I saw that 4chan meme, and I was like, that's really funny. Mm-hmm. And those guys had a lot of fun doing that. What if they just like never did that? Like, they exist to do stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You're giving them the fun by doing that stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying people should do it, but like the comment that trolling is neutral. Like, it's just gonna happen. You like try to do stuff that you don't think is lame, and then be willing to wear it if you are mistaken. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that people have very short-term memories on the internet. And Patrick Davison can probably talk about this more in detail. But that's one issue. And I think also, you know, again, yeah, if you're doing something interesting, cool, weird, not lame, then people will like what you're doing. And they're not going to always like what you're doing, again, because maybe they have a short-term memory. But the more cool stuff you do, the more you build up a relationship, just as with human beings. So I would say that it's actually kind of like to use the city metaphor again. I talked about the High Line being kind of like this design object. I was also really excited last year by the Times Square, the chairs in Times Square, if you saw that. It was kind of like the High Line. It was kind of like a public space / park area, except people had the option to sort of move their chairs around. And there was more of a sort of interaction going on, whereas on the High Line, you're kind of just walking and like looking at the spectacle. So I guess like that's really important, that when this relationship takes place, it has to be one of like participation and feedback, and not just we're going to take this thing, put it on TV, and not credit you, because that's going to cause all sorts of trouble on the internet.
Even if it is completely legal, like even if they've paid for the
Oh,
radio.
absolutely. I mean, I read the other day that Jay Leno basically stole a montage that he found on YouTube. I mean, Jay Leno didn't do it himself because they don't know if he uses the internet. But the guy who made the montage didn't get any credit. So he waged a Twitter campaign. And in the end, the next night, Jay Leno credited this guy. It was really awkward credit, like huge credit at the end of the show, like special thanks to, I forget the guy's name, and his YouTube video quote, it was just really weird. But at the end result was he waged this Twitter campaign, got a lot of people to know about this. The Tonight Show got in touch with him, and as a result, he got more hits to his site. So I think, there also is a lesson in fixing things. It's always possible to fix things. And to try new things. But yeah, I think there has to be this open participation. And a motherboard, which is sponsored by Dell, which is how it was started. It started as a channel, actually, on Vice's documentary channel. Dell came on and started sponsoring it. What we do on Motherboard is we have a way for people to submit content, to create posts. We're not like doing anything with it. We're not changing it necessarily unless it's like, or deleting it unless it's really bad or offensive or spam. But it's an open forum, and it's not like Dell's going out and grabbing stuff to the users on the internet. That's not how it looks, I guess. I think the way it looks is, here's a cool website where I can post stuff. Dell is affiliated with it somehow. And that's another thing. I think specifying what the relationship is really important when you're doing this kind of content. But people are putting stuff up voluntarily because they want to. And eventually, you build enough of a community there that it doesn't matter that it's corporate or not. And you start to create associations, perhaps, with a brand among your users. Or you don't. You just have like a cool website. And okay, Dell is a sponsor because websites need to make money. They need to be supported by something. So anyway.
So transparency is a thing to...
Transparency, and interaction and openness and the ability for users to sort of give stuff as opposed to having stuff taken from them.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is attribution, and everybody wants some type of credit. They want that internet famo. They want to feel like what they did deserves value. Case in point with the Leno thing. Yeah. Same thing with all these internet memes and that we document.
Right.
I mean, I think all of you know Keyboard Cat, right? The guy who kind of started it, Brad O'Farrell, asked for the right from Charlie Schmidt, my bad, to use that video of the cat playing the keyboard. Asked him to use it, got the okay, put it online. Blew up into this big hit, and then other media such as MTV and stuff started co-opting it and didn't give Brad and Charlie that credit, but eventually they did. And that's all they really wanted was just a little bit of internet famo.
Do we have time for one more question? Oh, sorry.
Good question.
Yeah. Which one?
Number 1.
This one?
Yeah.
Greg mentioned that there are some companies with whom he'd be okay being friends. What are some aspects of those companies that make them ones that you'd want to befriend?
I mean, I'm an artist, so if somebody's gonna give me free art supplies, maybe. I think it also depends on the size of the company too. Like, I'll be friends with maybe somebody that like owns a restaurant. Like, I get to somewhat have a personal experience with the bar owner or the restaurant owner. It feels, at least for me, it feels awkward when it's a large company like Time Warner or even Apple. You know, Apple does great customer service. I love them, but I don't know if I could really be friends with Apple. Just saying.
Oh, I was gonna say I don't know. I mean, customer service is a part of this, you know, and actually, like we were saying before, like, hey, what are you actually making or doing for us as opposed to what are you marketing to us? And I think people are better and better at seeing the differences between marketing and content or something you know, tangible. I think that's why I would respect a company, because they don't look like they're trying too hard. They don't look like that old narc trying to buy drugs and slang. So I think, yeah, it has to feel like they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and yeah, they build their own personality by looking like they're not trying too hard to be cool. And we talked about like the Old Spice campaign on television and the internet. I mean, like it's just like weird. It's weird, you know. And people start to spread that stuff around the internet. I mean, and I think that's another thing that has to be pointed out. Like the people making the content, the people who are working on the marketing, they have to be weird, and they have to be speaking from themselves as people. It's like what I write about is the stuff that I care about writing about, and what my writers write about, I tell them has to be the stuff that they care about. And there are audiences that are left out in this process, and by Vice and by Motherboard, I think, by everyone. But you have to bring in those people who understand those audiences and who care about them, who are passionate. So yeah, sorry for rambling.
I don't really friend companies on the internet. I mean, I just come at it from I'm kind of the devil's advocate in these meetings, because if a company offers something I already like I might do it, but you know, you buy one movie ticket online from AMC because you're running late, and then you get 1 million emails from them, and I don't need it. I mean, I might friend Converse, you know, but they're not looking. They're going to get my business anyway. Yeah. So if I felt like there was something from an ongoing relationship, that'd be fine. But my friendships are not transactional. They're based on mutual appreciation and understanding. But the business relationship is transactional. So I don't know. It can be done, but I don't know if I'm the right guy to do it.
All right. All right. Well, any closing remarks before we wrap this up, gentlemen? Alex?
I just want to say how terrifying that image is. I'm sorry for using that city metaphor, because that's kind of frightening. But I hope you guys aren't trying to like incite some kind of violence here.
That side's of the internet, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, we made a documentary on Motherboard. We make documentaries, and it's one of our sort of major pieces of content. And we made one about Rafflecon this past year, and it might be interesting to look at that just to see, you know, how weird the internet is in real life, and maybe glean some lessons from that.
Cool. Well, I think we're done here. Thank you, everybody.